You're listening to The Sizzle on Iron Skillet Radio and Iron Skillet Television.
You know what it is. You know who it is. It's The Sizzle here in the building. You know who's here. I'm G Sizzle. He's J Sizzle. We are in the building with the hottest talk anywhere. We are the hottest talk in the 219. We are the hottest talk anywhere. But before we get started, let me tell you this. If you have not liked, subscribed, and shared this information, please feel free to do so. All you have to do is hit the button. What's wrong with you? Yeah, just hit the button, hit the subscribe button. Get the little button, hit the bell so you know when it's coming out, so you can be alerted to this hot information every time we come on set. Once you do it,
it is hot too.
All you have to do is do it once. And once you've done it right. And remember, you can find us anywhere at hashtag Iron Skillet Sports. That way you can find the video, the podcast. We're all together. Everything's ready. So, Jay, let's get ready to talk about the Chicago Bears and this offensive line and how it works and how everything's working. So, okay, bro, let's just start off from how is this team going to be set up moving forward? Now that, you know, we're looking at what they're doing, but how are they going to set up everything?
You know, TEVEN Jenkins is the savior of the Chicago Bears.
Really?
He is what they have been needing for the last decade. And the amazing thing about it, that he is coming out of Oklahoma State. Am I correct about that? Yes, I am. With my, and he's been coached by a teammate of mine, Charlie Dickey, out of the University of Arizona, way back in the 80s. Charlie was a fine guard back in the day, and I knew he was going to be a coach. He was coaching back in the day when I was playing with him. This guy, TEVEN Jenkins, is probably the nastiest offensive lineman coming out of college this year. He is the quintessential guy who just don't like you. Now, the funny part about it, this guy is the poster boy for the gentle giant. Off the field, cool as a cucumber. But on the field, he's trying to bury you and your ancestors. This is the type of attitude that you need. And the Bears are going to pick him with the first pick. He just happened to fall to him after the great pick of Justin Fields. This is probably going to be the draft that we will be talking about 20 years from now that could very possibly set the Bears up to be the kings of the NFC.
Let me ask you a question. Is this the kid that said he was going to do everything in his power to keep the quarterback upright? Is that the same boy who said he had to maul your grandmother? He would do that. He would go out there and he would do whatever.
This guy is attitude personified. And what about it? He's not all mouth personified. He's attitude personified. If you watch any of his highlight reel tapes, it's like, ooh, you didn't have to do that like that. Did you know his mama was in the stands? You know.
Wait, was this the kid that drove the linebacker? He drove a player off the sidelines?
Kept him running just like the in the movie The Blind Side. Yes. He just kept him running down the field. This is a guy who has that attitude. This is what you need. And I'm gonna tell you the best part about this. Justin Fields has the same type of attitude. And we've seen it don't take much. It just takes a couple of guys to buy in to that I'm taking no prisoners attitude, that we're going to come up here, we're going to pillage, and we're going to go out here and steal stuff out the temple. And you could have a ravaging horde running through the NFC and maybe on their way to the Super Bowl, as long as everybody can keep themselves upright and out of sick bay.
So are we saying really that these kids, and I'm saying the kids as in all of them, because they're all young and they're all going to be coming in together. Is this the new start of a Super Bowl winning team? Is this what Ryan Pace is trying to do?
Every great team starts somewhere. Okay. Every great team starts somewhere. The Bulls, great team started back when Michael Jordan hit that jumper for North Carolina at the closing end of the championship game. And somehow or another, some fools thought there were two other guys in front of him that were better. And the ping pong ball fell to Chicago, that number 3 pick. And here you came and got Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Are we saying these guys are that? But somebody's got to be the GOAT. Somebody's got to be. And all these guys start off when they're 21, 22, and 23 years old coming into the league. I'm just looking at you. I think you got two guys who are at the top of their game. The Bears have gotten lucky. You got one of the best offensive tackles out there. And you probably got one of the at least top 5 quarterbacks during the draft. And Sabermetrics are saying he is the best quarterback by statistics that has ever been in the draft. Hey, I like the odds. You know, if I'm playing Texas Hold'em right now, I got 2 aces. You know what I'm saying? I got 2 aces. Now you might beat me. You might beat me with, you know, three threes and 2 twos. You might get a full house. But as the cards hit the table and I'm looking at my 2 aces, I'm feeling good right about now.
So when you saw that the Bears had this opportunity, because it was Carolina on the board. So they traded the 52nd pick to the Panthers, along with a 3rd round pick and a 6th round pick. And then they received a 5th round in return, the pick and then the 5th rounder. You were convinced then that Ryan Pace had made the right choice when he got TEVEN Jenkins then.
Without a doubt. This was the guy I was hoping that they would get. I was just hoping he was going to still be there. I didn't think he was going to be there, to tell you the truth. But when you have teams out in front of you who are not in that offensive lineman position, there's no reason for them to take another guy, and they have another guy who's playing at a high level in that position. You don't need to do that. This guy is probably going to be an all-pro offensive lineman. Probably going to be that. And so now you put him in with a good set of Bears offensive linemen that they picked up, the 2 Notre Damers that played well last year. And you look and see all of a sudden that now this Bears offense could get rolling. You see they've got some really good running back situations going on back there right now. You're looking at a couple of kids coming out of the draft. What is that one kid's name? Let me look at this guy. I didn't write his name down. Oh, yeah. Oh, another guy we forgot that they got. Jameer Byrd from the Patriots. You know what I'm saying? The slot receiver, the 4-2-5 slot receiver, the fast slot receiver. That this guy here is going to make those linebackers. They're going to have to play a nickel coverage when he's in the ball game because you cannot put a linebacker on this guy. He's going to run past you. So now that is going to make your offensive line even better because now they have a smaller body in the box. These things that the Bears are doing, I don't know what happened. I don't know if they got the advanced version of Madden 26 and they start figuring out how to play on Legends level. Do they have a Legends level in Madden? I don't know. Do they?
It's been so long now since I played Madden. I don't know. I tell you what, one of our listeners, they'll tell us in the comments. They'll say, hey, it's a pro level, a rookie, and a G Sizzle and a J Sizzle.
Yeah, I haven't played Madden in a while.
It has been a while.
Yeah, I haven't played Madden in a while.
I'm looking at this, and I'm just asking myself, is this really what Ryan Pace was thinking? And could this have, I know last year seemed to be a disaster, but was that all of what happened last year really a setup for what we have now? I mean, is it just, this is
no.
we were getting ready to do, or did they just luck into this whole thing?
No, they slipped on a banana peel and fell into $1 million. You know what I'm saying? They went into the door and they were the 127,000 person who walked into Kmart and they won the $1 million prize and the balloons fell out the ceiling and they got snow cones for the next 20 years. This is what happened to them. No, did they think Mitchell Trubisky was going to be a bust? Absolutely not. They thought they had the man. They thought they had Aaron Rodgers Jr. up there. Found out that he wasn't Aaron Rodgers Jr. He's not even Aaron. So the issue is that they lucked into this. They lucked into TEVEN Jenkins. They might have lucked into another linebacker in Charles Snowden, the 6'7", 240-pound kid, the former basketball player, who had the ankle situation last year and who looks really good and smooth. He might be an outside rusher for you. He also might be able to cover out the backfield. You got another kid, CJ Marble, who has been playing really well for Coastal Carolina. I think he had rushed over 609 yards this year on a minimum amount of carries. And this guy is a guy who is not only is he has speed, but he's tough. And he'll run inside. He's a little bigger than your Tariq Cohen. He caught 84 passes. He had 491 carries and almost 30 touchdowns. So this is a guy who in the last 3 seasons have shown that he can, and they played, Coastal Carolina played big-time competition. And this guy played really well. This is another guy. Now, is he going to make the squad right off from the beginning? Probably not. He's probably going to the practice squad. However, though, you got to figure out one of these guys up top, Damian Williams, one of these guys are not going to pan out at running back. We know that.
Right.
So now you have a home run hitter who possibly can come in and make a difference for you, especially when you got a speedster sitting in the slot. Now you have Allen Robinson. Now you have Mooney. You know, you have what looks like a potent offensive juggernaut about to happen. You know, you're looking at Jimmy Graham. Jimmy Graham's going to now get one-on-one. Can't get covered over the top with these safeties. You can't take him away. Commit is going to be there because you have a guy running 4.25. You have Allen Robinson, who is a legit top 5, 6, 7 wide receiver in the league. He's legit. You just got to get him the football. And now we have a big arm quarterback. Hey, say what you want to say about Andy Dalton. He can still throw the football. Now, can he move his feet and get moving around? We're going to find out. But if this offensive line can keep him upright, you might see an Andy Dalton who could put the ball on people, especially when he's got speedsters running all over the place. This is either going to be a recipe for the Bears being a top-flight NFC team, or this is going to be a recipe for disaster in case, especially if you get some guys who don't get happy about not having playing time right from the beginning, a la Justin Fields. I don't know how he's going to be if he does not start right from the beginning.
Yeah, well, we talked about that on our last show. We were talking about what do you do with Justin Fields? Do you hold him out? Do you get ready to put him in right away? I'm still leaning towards having the gingerhead genius there at the beginning of the season. But the question is, how long? And if Andy Dalton is doing his thing, let's say they're above 500 mid-season and you're looking towards the postseason and they're right there. Okay, at what point do you say either we need to stick with Andy Dalton or we need to make a change? And those are all questions. I don't know how you answer that really at this point.
You're looking at an offense that has never had a quarterback throw for over 4,000 yards. We mean never.
Ever.
You're looking at an offense which I believe has not had a quarterback throw for 30 touchdowns in a season. I believe I'm correct on that. If it is, it's only 1 or 2 guys. So this is probably, look, I mean, I will say this. Probably Andy Dalton is probably the 3rd best quarterback that the Bears have had. Probably the 3rd best quarterback that the Bears have. If you go back and look at Andy Dalton, a 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, Andy Dalton was more than serviceable. He could put the ball on people. He could throw the long ball. So you got a guy who can still throw it. He just doesn't have the legs. Now you have a guy who has all the tools. Super speed, super fast, can throw the football. Can he read the defenses? Yeah, we're going to find out. Because we know that the rookies coming into the league, especially with the Bears, don't fare too well. You look at that Rex Grossman, who was 2-1 in 2003. Craig Krenzel was 3-2 in 2004. And Kyle Orton, who I sort of like, he was 10-5 in 2005, even though he couldn't run away from a baby with a rattler. You know what I'm saying? So, but none of them really lit the world on fire. But the whole thing about it is none of these quarterbacks were Justin Fields. And so we have to see now, can this guy go out and be who we think he's going to be? But if Andy Dalton plays well, we might not even see Justin Fields for any significant time until the middle of the season.
So again, Jay, if he plays well, do we see Fields at all?
Well, again, like I said, I mean, if it's Andy Dalton's job to lose,
Right.
That's how I perceive it.
Right.
So I think the Bears are going to go into this saying, Andy, you're our number one guy, and the $20 million wonder down there drinking Gatorade, he's going to hold the clipboard for Justin Fields. And we're going to let you go out here and try to lead this team. Now, here's the thing about it. You haven't really heard a lot from Andy Dalton. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if he really believes he's the leader of this football team. Mm-hmm. You know, he says QB1, but does he act like QB1? We looked at certain quarterbacks when they come into a new situation, they get everybody coming over to the house. They get the barbecue rolling out in the back, and we start running routes. We haven't heard any of that yet. We haven't heard any of that, and maybe that is happening. Maybe it's just under the low. But I think if Andy Dalton was having route running sessions on a regular basis out at some high school field somewhere, I think we would have heard about it by now. Yeah. Even though you have the rookie, so I don't even know if that's happening or not, to tell you the truth. And if that's not happening, he's missing out on a huge opportunity.
It's funny you hear about the rookie coming in, gathering some old timers together. He's going over with tight ends. He's working with everybody on the squad. So it's a weird situation because you think to yourself, he may start the season. I mean, we're talking about him really growing and progressing. But after preseason, you may see all that you need to see to have him start the season, which I don't know if I'm a fan of. I don't know if I'm crazy about it. But as you just said, if he's commanding the huddle, he's taking charge of that team, they're going to follow his lead. And so if he's the guy. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, what I was going to say is that I don't think Justin Fields is the warmest guy out there. So I'm wondering how that attitude is going to be taken in an NFL pro locker room. We do understand that playing quarterback is one of the most cerebral positions that you can play in the NFL, but also it's one of those positions that you play by having relationships with other players. We see some of the best quarterbacks out there, they're really in close with their offensive line. They're really in close with their offensive players, and they command respect. Now, I'm not saying Andy Dalton doesn't command respect, but I haven't heard anything yet. I mean, here's the thing about it. Has Andy Dalton been down to rookie minicamp? If he's not there, right, that tells me something. Because if I'm Andy Dalton, I'm at rookie minicamp. I'm down there on the sidelines watching who's doing what, helping out Justin Fields if I need to. I'm down there at rookie minicamp. Because if this is going to be your team, you need to get locked in right now. And anytime you get an opportunity to do that, if he's not down there, that's a missed opportunity to be a leader. And so we got to find out who's going to lead. Is Justin Fields a leader? I mean, we know he's tough. We know he almost got killed by Clemson, and he kept going out there and kept fighting. So we know he's a tough guy, but can he lead? Because you're going to have to lead this team to the part. Because the Bears, I think, are just used to losing right now. You know, they're good enough not to be great. You know, they just don't have what it takes to get over the top, and they need somebody to pull them over the top. And so we're going to see, can Justin Fields pull them over the top? Can Andy Dalton pull them over the top? Can Jenkins pull this offensive line into the nasty people that they need to be? They need to be Spartans out there right now. And so can you lead that? Can you lead that group of guys, especially some veterans? Can you lead these guys in there? We're going to see. Somebody's got to step up and lead, because the one thing I know for a fact, Khalil Mack is not the leader of the Chicago Bears.
Well, you know what? We're going to leave it right there. We're going to put a bow on it for right now, because we're going to go into another segment. And when we talk in the next segment, we've got a lot of good information. We're going to talk some basketball later. But look, man, if Khalil's not the leader of the defense, who is?
Who's the leader? Who's the leader? Tell me who sets the tone for the Bears defense?
You know what? We're going to do that and a lot more on the next episode of The Sizzle. You're listening to The Sizzle, the hottest talk in the 219, the only talk in the 219. This is the only place where you can get this kind of information and content. So if you have not liked, subscribed, and shared, please make sure you do so. And if you have, we thank you, we appreciate you, we love you, and we will see you on the other side.
Love you.
Love you much. Love you bunches. Bunches. We
Wow.
love you. Bye-bye.